this is Koli Aziza with Mariama Learning, where we support early learners' needs. In our last video, we focused on supporting early learners' critical thinking skills. And I mentioned in the last video that in this next video, I wanted to focus on graphic organizers. Now, what are graphic organizers? Graphic organizers show us visually how we think. And it's great for early learners to have this experience and to begin understanding the way we think. So the first organizer that I'd like to talk about is the web. And the web to me is sort of a simpler graphic organizer. It's a beginner organizer where we, let's say, talk about a topic. So we might talk about a turtle. And then from the turtle, we might you have a circle or a bubble and you put turtle in the middle. And from that come these other bubbles, these lines. I just used to write lines, but I see with many webs on the internet, they have a line and then another bubble, and you would write in there what you think about when you think about a turtle. So you might think that a turtle is slow. You might think that a turtle has a shell. You might think that the turtle lives in the water. Those are some things you would put in either on those lines or on the other bubbles that shoot out from the bubble where you have the turtle. So that's a web. Now, all of the graphic organizers I'm going to talk about, you can use the language. So when you're out and about, if you don't have a chance to write anything down, you can say, oh, what are all the things we think about when we think about a turtle? So you can use the language of all those graphic organizers without writing them down, because school is everywhere and you can be out in the environment and just use the language. But when you have an opportunity, the graphic organizers are great so that we can see what we're thinking. And it's very important, especially for early learners, to understand that the spoken word can be written down. So that's another reason why you want to write it down and why we want our young people to see this visually. Now, we want to incorporate technology as much as possible. So you can use the old school way and use a chart and write it down with markers and pencils and crayons. You can also draw pictures and have your young people draw the pictures of the things that they think of. But you can also do this on a tablet that has a screen, a touch screen. And so that's a great way to incorporate technology into using these webs. Now, or into using a web or the other graphic organizers. So we're starting off with the web. And I like to start off with that. And then you can get into your Venn diagram. So your Venn diagram, you can use two circles that connect. In preschool and pre-K, with my 4 and 5-year-olds, we would move from the web and then into the Venn diagram. So let's say we talked about a turtle. With the Venn diagram, we may have now a turtle and a snake. And so you can just take what you said about a turtle and a snake in the webs and then put them in the Venn diagrams. And then you put in the middle what is the same about them. So you have your turtle. They're let me see, the horse has a hard shell. The snake, does the snake have a hard shell? No. What does the snake feel like? So you'd write that in that bubble for the snake. And in the middle, you would write what is the same about a turtle and a snake. Well, we may say that they both move slow, right? And so you'd put that in the middle. So that's an example of a Venn diagram. Now, the next the next graphic organizer that I'd like to talk about is a KWL. And that's one of my favorites because it's more advanced, but I like to give my students the opportunity. I've always liked giving young people an opportunity to do things, to push them a little bit and to do more advanced things. You usually see the KWL being used more in the Maybe in kindergarten they may start using it, and certainly in the upper grades. But I really like to give my pre-K students the opportunity to use that KWL. Now, what is it? It's what you know, K, what I want to know or what I wonder, and L, what I learned. Now for the know, we already did the webs. So they know how to tell you what they know. They can also tell you at this point what they know about things is the same and what they know is different. With the KWL, we say, what do we know? We can write that in. Let's say we're talking about the planets. So what might we know about Jupiter? Do we know anything about Jupiter? Let's write it down. What do we want to know, or what do we wonder about Jupiter? They might just know that Jupiter is a planet, okay? But what do we want to know about it? That's the part that for my 4 and 5-year-olds, I always found was a little difficult for them. So again, model for them. If they're unable to do it, don't just stop and say, oh, this KWL doesn't work for them. It doesn't work. They're not able to do it. No, model for them. What would I like to know about Jupiter? Maybe how far away is it from Earth? And then once you model for them, then your young people might start coming up with, they might wonder, do people live on Jupiter? Can you breathe on Jupiter? They might come up with questions once you give an example. And so always model, 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 and then your children will learn from your modeling, and then it will become something that will be much easier for them. Now, what they learned, I find that 4 and 5-year-olds always were able to tell me once we were done discussing a topic or diving into a topic, what they learned. The part that was harder was, what do I want to know, or what do I wonder? And so that's using that KWL really gives them an opportunity to do that, gives them practice using their brain in that way. And then once they move to the higher grades, that'll be like easy for them. Oh, that's something that I already know how to do. I'm wondering, what do I want to know about that? It causes you to really think deeply about something and do some investigation and discovery. So that's why I love the KWL. So we talked about 3 graphic organizers that I found to be very useful with early learners in the pre-K setting. The web, then diagram, and then the KWL, what I know, what I want to know or what I wonder, and what I learned, which I love, 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 love. Again, all of these graphic organizers can be used when just speaking. Just use the language of it so you can get your young people used to doing that. You can talk about it when you see something. Oh, what do you know about birds? You may see a bird. Oh, what would you like to know about birds? Or what do you wonder about that bird, that blue bird that we see? And then you can talk about it. From watching that bird today, what did you learn? What did you learn? So you can always use the language, but it's great for them to see it written down as well. So I thank you so much. I hope that you get to use those graphic organizers to support your early learners' critical thinking skills. I hope that I provided you with some new information and something that you find useful. Again, this is Koli Aziza with Mariama Learning, where we support early learners' needs. Please like, share, and subscribe. And we'll be seeing you again next month, where I'm going to have a special guest that's going to share some very valuable information with you. So that's for now. Koli Aziza signing off. Mariama Learning, where we support early learners' needs.